कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, अरे कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो। साहब मिले सबूरी में, अरे साहब मिले सबूरी में, मन लागो यार फकीरी में।
Some old habits from some years, and you are comfortable in those habits, and you see that you want to improve upon you want to take more life, and you get one or two clues. Okay, you do this and you do this, then you have to apply it, and that is what all comes to the mind. How you can live more by changing your habits.
How many of us want to change our habits? You know, the thing with change that one wants is that one does not want the one wanting to change. I am the one who first chose red or accepted red for whatever reason. Now I want a change. Now I want yellow. What is it then that is being sought to be changed? Something outside of myself, right? And in changing something outside of myself, what is it that I am preserving and continuing? Myself. This is the matter with any and all change that the mind desires. The mind would itself never want to change. The desirous entity would itself never want to change. It would want to change everything else. In fact, in changing something external, something peripheral, something secondary, what subliminally, quietly continues is the entity that is restless and hence always eager for a change. We'll go closer to this. There is red in front of me and there is yellow in front of me. There is red, there is yellow, and there is me. There are three of us, right? Which of these is restless for a change? You'll have to be together.
Me.
I'm not really lecturing. It's a question of our lives, right? The lives that you live and I live. Yes, so out of these three, who is the one that is not at ease with itself and wants change? Does red want change? Is yellow crying for change? Who is crying for change? Me. So where does the disease lie? In red? In red? Is red sick?
No.
Is yellow sick? Who is sick? Who is saying something is wrong, something ought to give, something needs to change, find a replacement, bring something new? Who is saying that? Who is saying that?
Me.
Who is it then who deserves to be changed? Red, yellow, or me?
Me.
And what do we end up changing?
Red to yellow.
Red to yellow, yellow to red, both to violet, and green and blue, and so on and so forth. What is never changed? What is never changed? And so what remains and continues and persists? Where did the whole matter of change start? It started with desire. It started with unease. Unease that rests in me. So if I don't go, what remains? That restlessness remains, right? Are we together on this? The whole matter of change, the very question of change arises because we are not settled, because we are not relaxed, because there is something that bothers, because there is something that pricks. Is that not so? Because there is something that does not quite appear all right. If everything is all right, do you want to change? So yellow changes, red changes, the unease, the feeling of dissatisfaction merrily continues. Not only does it continue, the desiring entity gets the credentials, the boasts to claim that it has tried and changed. It has tried and changed, but the change has not worked. And so the argument proceeds by saying that since this much of change has not worked, hence I require this much of change. Do you see what is happening? This changes to this, this changes to this, this changes to this, all in the same plane, all in the same dimension. From 1 you go to 2, from 2 you go to 3. And you never see that this superficial change will not help matters. In fact, it is a great escape. Do you see the various ways in which we seek change? Do you see what is entertainment? In this city, the sun would now be setting soon. And then the loudspeakers would start beating out gay tunes. Won't they? Recreation, entertainment, change. In fact, a lot of this city itself stands for change. Tired of one's urban schedule, one says one is going to a hill station to get a change. Change the city, change the mood, change the music, change the song, change the tempo, change the house, change the job, change the wife, change the color of the clothes, change the religion. But never, never, never change the one who is desiring all this change. Protect him because you are identified with him, because you think you are him. So let him continue. Let the unease, rather the dis-ease, continue. Now, how wise is that? How wise is that? So, yeah, please.
Well, this makes me think of instances where maybe you do. Where does real change come from then? Are you saying that people can't change ultimately? And if so, what about convicted felons? Or we expect people to change. So where does that come from?
Yes, wonderful. So far we have seen the falseness of external change. Now let us see what does real change mean. So far we have seen that which we call as change is no helpful change at all. It is so superficial, it is an escape, it doesn't help matters. It only helps hide matters. Why does one want change? We are moving to something else now, something a little deeper. Why does one want change?
Dissatisfied with the present.
One is dissatisfied with the way one perceives himself, his situation to be, right? What is it that one ultimately wants by changing? When you say you want change, you want to reach to another point, right? What is that next point, that other point like? Contentment. That other point is a point of peace, contentment. You are not satisfied right now. You want to reach a point where you would be satisfied, right? Or do you want a change that makes you more miserable? Do you want a change like that? Anybody? No. So when we say we want change, we want betterment, right? And what is that betterment that we desire? Ultimately, that betterment is about feeling more relaxed, more peaceful, more joyful, right? That is what one wants. But what if one is identified with this entity that wants so much to change? I am the restless one. That is my statement of identity, of identification. What happens when I get peace? Remember that I want change so that I may become peaceful. I do get that change. I do become peaceful. And if I become peaceful, what happens to me? Remember, I am, what's my self-definition? I am the restless one. Kindly verbalize it. I am the restless one. I am the restless one who wants peace. Now I do get peace. I do get peace. In peace, what happens to restlessness?
It dies.
In peace, what happens to restlessness? It disappears. And I am?
Restless.
So in peace, what happens to me?
Dies.
Okay.
Cures.
I'm gone. So on one hand, I want restlessness. On the other hand, I want peace. On the other hand, the more peaceful I get, the more I
will be vanished.
disappear. Do you see this?
Yes.
If I am identified with restlessness, for example, I might be identified with ambition, achievement. progress, and all of these are identifications of restlessness. You are attached to something which is essentially telling you that you are incomplete and hence making you feel restless. If I am that one, then peace means my death. If I am the ambitious one, then relaxation means my death. Do you see this? In relaxation, tell me where is ambition. In contentment, tell me where is the yearning for progress. Now that is man's predicament. On one hand, he greatly wants peace. On the other hand, he very well knows that peace is his dissolution. So he plays a game with himself. He tells himself that he is striving for peace, that he is trying for peace. In a very superficial way, he shows himself, he displays to himself that he is actually genuine, sincere about peace. Internally, he despises peace. Internally, he is afraid of peace. Peace is what he wants, and peace is what he blocks. Do you see this? The only real change is the dissolution of the changer. You being what you are, any change that you will desire will only be an extension of your own desire, which is your own self. And your own self is the very disease that is not happy with itself and wants to change. You want to extend this disease by asking for change. The real change then is to see the futility of all change. The real change then is to see that whatever you have desired, and all desire is about changing, right? All desire is about getting something different, something new, and hence all desire is a desire for change. The real change is in seeing that whatever you have desired on your own has not brought you to the end of desire. One desire follows the next, which simply means that no desire suffices. It doesn't matter whether the desire is fulfilled or unfulfilled. One desire is always followed by the next. Desire carries in it the promise of fulfillment, a promise that is never kept. Desire keeps making us false promises. It keeps giving us false hopes. And like fools, we keep buying those promises. We keep hoping that the next desire and its fulfillment will bring us to contentment and peace. That contentment and peace never comes as a result of desiring. Desire can never give to us what desire promises to give us. Change can never give to us what change promises to give us. When one sees that, that is real change. Then there is an internal stopping of all movement. You know, there is movement outside, which we call as the world. And there is also great inner movement, which we call as the mind. Mind moves about in desires. When you see the futility of expecting too much from desires, then that inner movement stops getting energy. Do you see this? Now you may still desire, but you will not burden desire with the hope of fulfillment. You know that desire can only give you this much, little, very little. And hence the mind would not be chasing the ultimate through desires, which brings it to a particular stillness. That stillness is the real change. Do we see this? And that is the only change that would ever work. The very change in understanding of the self, in self-definition, in knowing what one is and who one is. Are we together so far? Yes? Do we see this? You can call it a change in the very point from where one operates. It is not a change in the operation. It is not a change in action. It is a change in the operator. It is a change of the actor. I am not changing my operations. I am not just changing what I am doing. I am changing the doer itself. And how does one change the doer?
By seeing the
By no more being the doer that one normally is. Changing the doer does not mean that you go and bring about another doer. Changing the doer means that no doer would work, because any and all doers that I summon would ultimately be the ones called by me. And hence, doership itself would be unhelpful, inconsequential, a continuation of my misery. Do you see this? The doer, the operator, the actor, they are all me. They are all what I think myself to be. They are all my ego statements. The ego statement remaining the same, the actor remaining the same, any change of action is bound to be futile. We concentrate too much on the action. We pay very little attention to the actor. When you took the example of hardened criminals, you talked about their actions, right? The law arrests people based on what they have done. We pay very little attention to what is going inside. Does the knife kill?
No.
Does the bullet kill? Does the gun kill? Does the trigger kill? Does the finger pulling the trigger kill? Does the arm having the finger kill? What is it that kills? Where does killing originate? What needs to be changed? The bullet? If you change bullets, will crime stop? Guns? If you have better guns, Would crime stop? Triggers, fingers, arms, what is it that needs to be changed if you want to stop violence?
The actor.
What is it that needs to be changed? The one that you are. The mind that is not happy, the mind that is not contented. All violence comes from discontentment. The one who is not all right with himself is bound to be violent. Do we see this? Unless one sees the failure of his ways, one will continue in his ways. Is it not very obvious? So seeing the total failure, the total futility, the total hopelessness of all this is extremely important. In seeing how big a failure is all this, you come upon the only success that you can have, and that is the only change possible.
Find peace and be peace.
Okay, so it's through the pain that you experience causing other people violence, that's what makes you want to change. Is this right? So you feel pain when you hurt someone else and you want to change and not do that again. But if you dissolve yourself entirely, you don't really remember any of that pain or that empathy that you caused other people. So how do those two things fit together? Like, do you dissolve yourself and then you just, I guess I don't understand the connection.
You being you, you cause hurt to others, you wound others. You being the one that you are. You act as an agent of violence. And anything else that you can conceptualize yourself to be or desire yourself to be would still be your own desire, right? And who are you? The violent one. If you are the violent one, what would be the color of all your desires? Violence. So whatever you want to become would still be colored, steeped in violence. This observation, this stark realization makes you come to a full stop, to a cessation. And then you let things happen through you.
Violence.
Remember, now you are not doing, now you are just letting things happen. You have seen that whatever you do comes short, falls short. Whatever you do contains explicit or implicit violence. You have seen that now. So now you do not trust yourself with the burden of deciding, acting, choosing. Now you do not take yourself to be smart and clever. Now you do not say that I have the capacity to be the master of my own life. Now you do not indulge in your own calculations and projections. Now you have stopped. Now all that movement, now all that arithmetic has stopped. You have seen that you are a very poor driver of your life. So you have stopped. And what happens after that? Does life stop along with you? Something magical happens. When you stop, life begins. Till the time you go on, life is in abeyance. Life remains suspended. In the moment you stop, you realize your impotency, you realize your limits. So you drop your arms, you surrender. You drop your arms. You drop your claims at being adept, skillful, scholarly, knowledgeable. You stop taking yourself seriously. You come to see that one has been a clown so far. You stop. And in stopping, there is something inside you that says, even if in a faint voice, it says, oh, now that you are stopping, life too will stop. Who will drive life? If you won't act, if you won't remain the actor, then how will action happen? But now that you have become totally hopeless with yourself, you still stop. You have stopped. But some part of you is expecting that life would now become dull, boring, movementless. You have been assuming that it is your energy that has been driving life so far. So the moment you stop, your expectation is that the whole machinery, the whole system, the whole vital throbbing organism of life too will stop. But something magical happens. It does not stop. In fact, now you see that it is moving with great beauty without your contribution. Now that you have stopped, the flow of life has become greatly harmonious. You were the irritant. You were the noise. You were the polluter. You have stopped, and now it is a melodious,
Natural.
harmonious, mellifluous flow. And now that you have stopped, you have the luxury of watching that flow. And now you wonder, why was I such a fool for so long to interfere with life? Why couldn't I have allowed it to run its own course? Why did I feel the need to take matters in my own hands? Why couldn't I surrender earlier? But all of that is not something that words can contain. Had it been just cause and effect, had it been something of logic, I could have convinced you. It is not logic, it is magic. And that magic begins only when you stop.
Okay, so but if you give up all of your your input into life or all of your responsibility to do anything, then who stops global warming or who helps orphans or stops people from being attacked?
Who caused global warming?
Everyone.
So who needs to stop?
Each person.
Everything that you have been doing leads to global warming. Now do you need to do more or do you need to do less? You are acting as if you are the one who will stop global warming. I am saying you are the one who is causing global warming. You stop and global warming will stop. You stop your activities, you stop all man-made activity, and where is global warming?
But
The rivers know how to flow. Nature knows how to take care of itself. It is your interference that is causing global warming.
it's everyone's interference. So
Yes, so I'm talking to mankind in general.
okay.
And everybody thinks, just like you, that he is very wise and he is helping matters. It is not only you who says that I am a do-gooder, I am a well-wisher. You move out on the streets and you ask, are you a friend of earth? Everybody would say yes, of course. Just like you, everybody thinks that he is very smart and he is contributing to nature. Nobody thinks that he is an evil person who is wreaking havoc and eliminating species after species. Today, we need more and more people who have stopped. We do not need more activism. It is activism of various kinds that has brought us to this sorry situation. Stop doing all that which you are doing, and the earth would heal itself in very short time. It has its own intelligence. It does not need your contribution at all. In fact, your contribution is very unwelcome of any kind. Contribution of any kind is just an interference. It is not needed. If you want to contribute, there is only one way. Spread the message of cessation. Do not tell people different ways of continuing. Do not give them alternate ways of living. Tell them to stop. Any alternative that you will present to them will be a man-made alternative. And all man-made alternatives are no better than the previous one.
Okay, this I understand. But what about another example? If you just stop and there's people being attacked in your neighborhood, you're just
Yes, of
supposed to
course,
stand
of
by.
course. Or why even talk of people? You are walking and you see a puppy that is in distress. Its leg has been crushed, let's say, under the tire of a vehicle. What does stopping mean in such a situation? What does it mean? I would then ask you, what does it mean to continue? You are going to the market with your own purpose, with your own cleverness, with your own objectives, goals, targets. You are going to the market. You are continuing. And you see a puppy by the roadside, struggling, suffering. What does it mean now to continue? You have left your home with a preset purpose. You have a plan. It's a clever plan. It's a plan that serves your self-interest. What does it mean to continue?
To reach to the destination.
It means that I will continue doing what I am doing. And now there is the puppy. What does it mean to stop? That it doesn't matter what I have thought of. I cannot take myself seriously. Existence is the master, and if existence is presenting me with this situation, then I stop and let the right action happen through me. And that right action could be anything. But I do not continue. You can help others only if you stop. If you continue, you are only doing what you want to do. And what you want to do serves just you, because it is a product of your mind. And mind is a self-serving entity. It's very insecure. Don't you see how it seeks security and furtherance in various ways? Don't you see how it wants to extend its own life, how it wants to reproduce, how it wants sustenance by seeking acceptance, respect in others' eyes? Such an insecure entity this is, the mind. If the mind continues, you can never help anybody. You can help someone only if you stop. When you stop, then you make way for the right, passionate, energetic action to happen through you. And then it is not petty, limited, self-serving action. Then that action has something of the beyond in it. You can call it divine action. Man thinks himself to be very clever. He thinks that he will bring about solutions. He is eager to get solutions without first seeing where the problem came from. And the solution can never come from the same place from where the problem came. We do not see that we are the problem. We rather want to claim that we can be the solution. You don't need to bring about a solution. You just stop being the problem. Stop being the problem. No solution is needed.
So why is mind so insecure?
Ask this to the mind. When you ask this, then the asking is not an act of insecurity. In instances of honest inquiry, honest attention, you are no more insecure. So when are you insecure? Only when you think yourself to be insecure. Unfortunately, you think too much. When you are asking, why are you afraid? Are you afraid anymore? Are you really afraid? And if you are really afraid, will you have the guts to ask yourself, why am I afraid? And what is fear? Will you have the courage to look at yourself so closely? No. You will then avoid looking at yourself. So, in asking, why am I insecure? Why am I afraid? You are no more afraid. But we do not ask that. We do not pay attention to our situation. And if one pays attention to what is going on, then what is going on ceases to have power. The happening becomes dominant over you only because you are not in touch with the happening. Remain close to what is happening and you come to a point where nothing happens at all, which is a point of absolute stillness. And in that stillness, whatever happens, just happens. It does not mean anything. It does not carry any significance to you. So you can let the happening then flow freely. Then it is a dance, a free dance. Do you see this?